Welcome everyone, it's Miss Gisa. Are you ready to go on our third culinary adventure? Today I have my daughter Adele, who's going to help us to taste test, and it's a joy to have Kelly from At the Liquid Medium to join us for our third episode. Now, if you haven't already watched our first two culinary adventures, be sure to check those out. Kelly?
Hello and welcome, budding scientists, mathematicians, and botanists. I want to thank everyone for opening their hearts and expanding their minds on this culinary adventure. Every day, there is an opportunity to learn something new, make a new friend, taste a new flavor, and you are doing great. Miss Gisa has carefully crafted many lessons and read-alongs that we incorporate into our food videos. Watch for clues and suggestions so you can get the most out of the Butterfly Garden YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Be sure to follow us on social media for more fun with food, plants, and books.
Kelly, what are we making today?
Today we're making yogurt. Who eats yogurt on a regular basis? Yogurt is a dietary staple for many different families, and there are a lot of variations of yogurt. Some types are thicker, some are fruity, some are savory. What is your favorite way to eat yogurt?
I like eating yogurt plain.
Oh, okay, that's impressive. How about you, Miss Gisa?
I like it with granola.
Oh, me too. I love it with some seasonal fruit, but we're also going to get to try it in some savory dishes. So, did you know that by simply eating yogurt, you are helping your body be healthy and strong because yogurt is an easy, economical way to get probiotics? Would you be surprised to learn that making yogurt is a science experiment? Yogurt is considered a cultured dairy product because it is made with the help of good bacteria called Lactobacillus fermentum. Special scientists, microbiologists, and immunologists study the effects of both good and bad bacteria. This research helps us improve our health and cure illnesses and heal the earth and even make our food more nutritious. Miss Gisa, recently you read 2 stories about the Nobel Peace Prize, which I loved, and it made me think of a yogurt story. Ilya Mishnikov is a Nobel Prize-winning immunologist who studied the traditional diets of people from regions who had lots of cultured dairy in their diets. His research showed people who ate cultured dairy were healthier and had an easier time recovering from illnesses. This is how discovery works, by combining ancient wisdom and scientific research. Miss Gisa, can you tell us the different categories for the Nobel Prize?
I sure can. Let's take a look at this picture. There are many different categories for the Nobel Prize. One is physics, another is chemistry, there's one in medicine and literature, and then economics and peace, which is the one we hear about often.
Thank you for sharing. All of those categories are so important. I have a few more facts about yogurt and we'll be ready to start our experiment. Can we grab the map?
We sure can.
First, let's go to Turkey. Yogurt is a Turkish word for fermented, tart, semi-solid milk. Yogurt is native to places with a warm climate, Central and Southwest Asia and the Middle East. Next, we'll head to the kitchen. But first, when you think of a stove, you think of heat. And that will help you remember that we need heat to create yogurt if you are using a recipe for thermophilic yogurt. Thermophilic is the scientific name for bacteria that grows best in warm temperatures. In our first cultured dairy episode, we learned about mesophilic dairy culture, which grows best in cool temperatures. For our yogurt experiment, we will use 3 scientific elements: heat, bacteria, and our liquid medium, milk. So what's our first step? You guessed it, we're gonna wash our hands. So now that our hands are clean and dry, we are ready to heat up our milk. I'm going to start with 4 cups of milk. I'm using milk from Clover Dairy. This is one of my favorite local dairy farms, and we've used them in the past in our other episodes. I'm going to stick with the pasteurized milk. I feel like our dairy cultures grow better. They like the pasteurized versus the ultra pasteurized. And how we are going to tell the temperature for our milk, we're going to use this handy kitchen thermometer. I know Miss Gisa recently read a book, Inchworm and a Half, and then she followed it with a lesson on measurements. So again, this is another unit of measurement. You can practice with a thermometer and add that to your measuring skills that you learned from Miss Gisa. So on top here we have Fahrenheit, on the bottom we have Celsius, and today we're going to heat our milk up to 180 degrees Fahrenheit. So let's get started. So you want to bring this milk, it's almost to a boiling. I'm going to use like a medium-high heat because we don't want the milk to burn. We'll keep an eye on this, and then we'll meet back and mix up our yogurt cultures. So we are very close to 180 degrees. This milk heats up quickly, and I like to use my wooden spoon to just give it a gentle stir so it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan. Once we hit our 180 degrees, we're going to take this off the stove. We're going to let it cool to 110 degrees. So we've got it to 180 degrees. I turned off the stove, and I'm going to move this over to the counter, and that way we can monitor it as it cools down. Now our milk is nice and cool to the temperature that it grows best in, which is between 105 and 110 degrees Fahrenheit. So let's head over to the table and mix in our yogurt culture. Now that our milk's cool, we are going to mix in our yogurt cultures. We're going to do a batch of 2 cups of our heated and cooled milk to 2 tablespoons of an existing yogurt culture, and then we'll use the remaining 2 cups of milk and mix it with our dehydrated yogurt cultures that I purchased from Positively Probiotics. And we got some really great Pima from them, so I'm excited how this yogurt will turn out. The existing yogurt culture that I have is from a company called Strauss Dairy, which is also local here in California. So what you want to do, let's start with the existing yogurt culture, is mix this into your cooled milk. And you just want to gently stir it so that it's well combined. Okay. And let's pour it into our jar. Now we're ready to mix in our dehydrated yogurt cultures into our milk. And you can see they're just like little yogurt flakes. I'm going to sprinkle these in. Gently stir. And we're going to add it to this nice clean jar we have. I love, love, love these canning funnels. Now that we have both of our yogurts jarred and ready to ferment, you want to have your lid on nice and tight, and I want to be able to tell the difference between my dehydrated culture and my existing culture. So I took the label and taped it to this lid and a blank one. Sometimes I like to, for fun, give my new cultures a name. I think we should call this one Gertie, and then we'll call this one Birdie. So now these are ready to ferment.
So there's two ways that you can ferment your yogurt. You can set your oven to 100 degrees and put your jars in the oven, or you can use a cooler, a camping cooler. I'm gonna use a cooler today, and a trick I learned from a friend is to put them in a hot water bath. The water from the tap in your kitchen is usually around 100, 110 degrees. And that's the heat that the yogurt likes to grow in. So I have some hot water in this cooler, and I'm going to ferment the yogurt in a water bath. So I placed Gertie and Birdie in a nice warm water bath, and we're gonna let them rest here for anywhere from 3 to 12 hours. You wanna check on your yogurt periodically to see if it's the consistency that you want it to be. And this is something that you can experiment with, play around with. Don't be discouraged if it turns out a little too watery or thick. You can always add it into a recipe or a smoothie and get your use out of it and get your nutrients as well. Another interesting thing about yogurt is it likes to be quiet and still. So you don't want to agitate it or move it around, and you just want to keep it in a nice, quiet, still place. So we're gonna let Gertie and Birdie get some rest and get to growing.
Gisa and Adele, are we ready for our sweet and savory samples?
We sure are.
Let's start with savory first. So go ahead and grab your bowls.
Kelly, before you give us a dollop of yogurt, I just want to show everyone, this smells amazing, and I want to show everybody all the colors and the veggies. It's just beautiful.
Well, there's some really special ingredients in that veggie bowl. There are garbanzo beans or chickpeas. There's some squash, and there's also some very special hot peppers from the butterfly garden.
Yay! It's going to be our first sampling of them.
Yes. So let's mix in a little bit of yogurt and see how that tastes. Adele, you're first?
Yep. Thank you.
I'm next.
All right, Miss Gisa, I've got a nice healthy scoop for you.
Thank you. This looks so delicious. How does it taste?
It is so delicious.
Kelly, this is amazing.
So while you're enjoying your veggie bowls with the yogurt, I'm going to let you know a little bit about the ingredients and how I chose them. You know I love my food wheel, and there's another element to the food wheel. The top portion of it shows veggies, produce, meat, and fish that you can get available year-round in California. So I chose carrots, and there's some squash in there. But the chickpeas are from a place out of Napa, California, and it's a farm called Rancho Gordo, and they do heirloom beans. There has not been a variety that I haven't loved. So we've got some really good ingredients and from all over our great state.
We're very lucky to live in California. Lots of wonderful farms where we can get fresh ingredients.
Oh, that was the other exciting thing. After your lesson on pumpkins, I was inspired, and we went to visit a local farm in Ventura called the Abundant Table. And they have a farm stand where I was able to buy some really great produce. The squash is from there. And that's why I have some pepitas on the tray. We're gonna mix up a little parfait for our sweet dish. So you are ready, grab your bowls, and we'll get some toppings.
All right, we have our bowls of yogurt.
So first I want to show you a really fun experiment. This is like one of the simplest things you can do with yogurt. And I'm going to sprinkle some bee pollen and honey. And I want you to swirl that around and see it looks like a work of art. So, who's first?
Me. Thanks.
Are you ready, Miss Gisa?
I sure am.
All right, so now we'll do some honey. This honey is from very nearby Cayuga Park.
Oh.
And it's called Harry's Honey. I actually found it at the Mar Vista Farmers Market. So let's drizzle some honey.
Go ahead, sweetie.
There we go. I like lots of honey.
Thanks.
I do too.
There we go. Now take your spoons and swirl it around and watch it change right before your eyes.
Wow, that's so neat.
Isn't that beautiful?
I love that yellow color.
You said bee pollen. Is it actually like pollen?
It's actual pollen. What beekeepers do is there's a special tray that collects the pollen, and I think it just very gently falls off of the legs as the bees are going back to the hive. So it's another really beautiful product. We get so many fantastic things from bees. And I have a sneaky feeling that Miss Gisa is going to be teaching us about bees very soon.
You got it. We will be learning about the bee life cycle this school year.
I can't wait. Can I give you some pomegranate seeds and maybe some pepitas?
What
Yes.
beautiful colors with pomegranate seeds. Ooh.
Making like a nice little fall landscape here. Here you go, Adele.
Thanks.
I really like to load up my parfaits, but you can see how wonderful it is just with the bee pollen and honey.
Absolutely. Pomegranates are some of my favorite fruits.
Oh, it's making it pink.
Look at
It's
that.
such a beautiful color. So pepitas are another wonderful food ingredient that helps with our immunity. You know, so much of our food can help us stay in good health.
Okay, I'm gonna taste mine now. This looks amazing.
This is delicious. It's like really sweet. And like crunchy.
No more plain yogurt, right? You didn't know what you were missing. Well, Kelly, we have learned so much from you in each of these little journeys that we go on with you. And I had a little guy at our last class show me his butter that he made in his jar, and he was so proud of it. I wish you could have seen his face. He was sharing it with the whole class, and it was so fun to see his excitement. It's really important to have kids in the kitchen when you're cooking and expose them to new vegetables and foods and tastes for different foods. And in addition to that, just all of the vocabulary that you've taught us today, thermophilic and mesophilic. I mean, I'm learning so many new science words. So we're really grateful that you are coming on to our channel and really helping us to discover the love and joys of cooking.
Well, you're so welcome. And I think it's great. You know, we can learn about science and help us learn new things that help bring us together and understand each other better. And I want to give a big thank you to you and Adele and your husband / cameraman, Dave. I know we're all missing our friends and family right now. And this is a wonderful way. When I can't have them at my table, I have you at my virtual table, and I can't wait to continue this.
We are excited to go on a 4th culinary adventure with you very soon. We'll see you next time. And everyone, remember to stay tuned and to press that like button and subscribe to our channel. Bye.